In this first video, I'll introduce the basics for the cardiovascular system. Due to the amount of information covered, the first set of objectives are divided into two videos. We'll see what the difference is between the cardiovascular and circulatory systems, review cardiac muscle histology, and look at the anatomy of the heart. Circulatory refers to that which is flowing through the body. Think fluid connective tissue, that is blood and lymph, and the structures that transport those tissues. Whereas the cardiovascular system refers to the heart and blood vessels, which are the arteries, veins, and capillaries. This is the system that ensures adequate blood flow to all parts of the body. These illustrations give a nice side-by-side view of the two systems. On the right, there's the lymphatic system that also shows some structures responsible for production of immune cells, lymphatic tissues, and the largest lymphatic organ, the spleen. On the right side, there is also a visible network of vessels needed for circulating the blood. However, the heart is included and has a major function in initiating and maintaining the flow of blood. Now that we've taken a broader look at the cardiovascular system, let's look at the heart. It is located in the chest, nestled between the two lungs in a space called the mediastinum. This term is used in imaging. For example, a radiologist will carefully view an X-ray to determine that the heart is located in the proper position and not crossing over or beyond its normal borders. The radiologist's report may include his description of the heart's position in reference to the mediastinum. The tapered, inferior, pointy end of the heart is called the apex, and the broad, superior region from which the great blood vessels emerge is called the base. You may recall that muscle is one of the four primary tissue types found in the body, and that muscle tissue can be further categorized as skeletal, smooth, and cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle cells, called cardiomyocytes or cardiac myocytes, are short, thick, branched cells. They have features that differ from skeletal muscle, including large T-tubules that allow calcium ions to enter the cell during muscle excitation. I'll be discussing the importance of calcium for cardiac muscle cell contraction in a future video. Another special feature are the intercalated discs that connect the cardiac myocytes. Intercalated discs contain two types of mechanical junctions. Think of these as the strong connections anchoring and holding the cells together. The fascia adherens act as a strip on which the myocytes lie, and the attaching mechanism is not unlike that of a piece of Velcro. The second mechanical junction is probably more familiar to you, and that's the desmosome. This type of intercellular junction firmly connects the cells together. If you think about it, there's a lot of force exerted with each pump of the heart. You do not want the cells to rip apart. Last component of the intercalated disc is the gap junction. This junction type allows for cell-to-cell communication through channels that allows ions to pass easily. This is a picture of cardiac muscle tissue under a microscope. Note the arrow pointing to the intercalated discs. There is no other tissue that this can be, as the intercalated discs are indicative of this being heart muscle tissue. The pericardium is a sac that surrounds the heart, protects it, and anchors it in place by attaching to nearby structures. The outer wall is the fibrous pericardium, which is seen on cadaver as the membranous tissue surrounding the heart. The serous pericardium has two components. Remember that there are serous fluids in the body, meaning the fluids are more watery in nature versus a substance that is thicker, called mucus. The parietal layer is more external, and the inner layer, the part that makes contact with the heart itself, is the visceral layer. Viscera means organs. Between the parietal and visceral pericardium lies the pericardial cavity filled with a serous fluid, the pericardial fluid. Visceral pericardium is also called the epicardium, one of the layers of the heart I'll discuss next. The layers of the heart from most external to deep is epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. The epicardium appears as a shiny membrane on the surface of the heart. The myocardium is the thick muscular layer seen in the walls of the heart. Please note that the myocardium in the left ventricle is considerably thicker in appearance than the myocardium on the right ventricle. So here you can see an illustration of these layers. At the bottom it shows how the pericardial sac attaches to the diaphragm. The next two slides are for practice and labeling purposes.